Welcome back, Captains. Today I have a bit of a different video for you. I have a wish list. It's going to be a top 5. I have it written down in front of me here. I'm going to read off some of the things that I would like to see in the game that aren't in the game, or things that could be tweaked and improved. This is going to exclude bug fixes, because I'm pretty sure no one wants things like Recoil Ridge to disappear at level 25. Also, I understand the game is still in beta. Again, this is a wish list, things I'd like to see in the far future. Right now we're just focusing on the basics, but you know, it's just something nice to think about. Alright, kicking off the list here at number 5 is going to be storage capacity for the non-nanopod buildings. Like, the regular sized warehouse, it's a little ridiculous. It costs 8 pops, and it only gives you 1,000. Like, imagine, okay, here are my proposals. Plus 100 storage capacity for those warehouses, or minus 1 pops for managing those warehouses. Or even starting off the game with 1,000 capacity instead of 500. Because with those warehouses, it's just so many things feel out of reach by just a couple hundred. It slows down XP production because all your pops are managing those warehouses. Like, imagine what would happen if you had an extra 100 per warehouse, as I mentioned earlier. That's another option. Like, so many things just feel barely out of reach by like 25 or 50. Like, having an extra 100, it would do the player a lot of favors, and it just feels like with the current capacity, you're being forced to buy the nanopod buildings, and that's kind of unfair in my opinion. It takes a lot of time and patience. You can do it without that, but it would just be a lot easier to progress with it. Personally, I feel players are more likely to quit the game, especially like the newcomers, not the veterans or seasoned players, just based off of this alone, because they get frustrated they can't do anything because of the storage capacity, and they'll feel like, oh, I need nanopods in order to progress. Alright, here at number 4, I have the removal or the change of nanopod missions and resource donation missions. Now, I promise this entire list is not me just yip-yapping and complaining about nanopods. These are on the lower end of the top 5 list, but seriously, think about it. I don't have it in front of me, I'll probably show it to you. I have 2 missions. The first one, it wants me to wake a weapons factory, I believe, and build a bazooka squad, which is around 120 nanopods for the sake of a little bit of XP. Even if it's like 10,000 XP, I still wouldn't deem it to be worth it, because that's a lot of nanopods I could have spent on something way better. And the resource donation missions, like, oftentimes when you get them, you're not even making those resources yet. Like me, I'm not making any steel or lumber because I've been limited with, again, the warehouses from number 5. They're limiting me at the moment, and so it's just very slow progress. And instead of using those resources on units that you want to make, it's forcing you to just throw them away, essentially, when instead it could just get you started on building that dry dock at level 25. Now, coming in at the number 3 spot, and I'd say this is the most important, but not my favorite, is balanced challenge modes. Now, I'm pretty sure they're going to bring back boss strikes. That was really fun. But the challenge mode, I don't remember a lot about it. I remember there was like some kind of invasion and there were variations of it or whatever. But essentially, Banana Stand Republic, or BSR, they always got the best rewards, and the rewards was based off your entire guild. And the top 100 guilds always got the best stuff, but only the top 3 got the exclusive rewards, and number 1 got a very exclusive unit that not many people have, or had, because it's no longer, you know, this is a completely new game, essentially. And the reason why I'm saying this needs to be balanced is because you have people at the very top of the game just getting, essentially just the rich getting richer, poor getting poorer. And if you run into units like this, I remember running into like a Deathmonger. It was insane. I just got clapped because there's nothing you could do about that. You don't have it, they do. And so essentially what I'm saying is, if they want to bring this back, make it balanced. Make it so that all the guilds can get that reward on like a different tier system. Now, coming in the number 2 spot here, and I'm pretty sure many people have thought of this before, Guild Wars. For whenever guilds come out, I'd say Guild Wars would be something to look forward to, honestly. Putting 2 guilds up against each other. And I don't know how it would work exactly. My concept would be that each player Obviously, the guilds would have to have the same amount of people, and each player gets a designated player to challenge. And maybe they'll have like a defensive formation that you set up, and then you attack that formation whenever the war actually starts or whatever. I don't know how it would work. Another concept that I thought of having a look at this is like maybe the defender has less units, but they're able to use some of their defenses, while the attacker just gets to use more troops. Something like that. I have no idea. Just something that I would love to see personally in the future. Having a second wave of your own reinforcements. Now, it sounds nice, but it's also kind of useless, I feel. It just basically plans you for failure. I feel like, hey, this first wave will die. But I don't know. Maybe for something like boss strikes where you have 10 waves or something, you could have a second wave. Now, for the number one spot here, my personal favorite idea that I came up with that I would love to see is different tile amounts on the field. Now, I know this is already a thing, and I'm probably showing it right now, like with the mammoths, it's like a 3x3 battlefield, but I'm not thinking of like shrinking the field. I'm thinking of making it larger. Maybe add one more 1x5 row, maybe make they're like a pyramid, like add one more 1x1 at the very top, or just more scenarios. Who knows? Maybe like a 3x5 field in between you and the enemy filled with obstacles. That would be pretty interesting as well. Just something to keep it fresh. I don't know. I love this idea. I feel like there would be a lot of complications, but it would definitely keep the game fresh, especially in PvP, where it's just you're essentially expecting something very powerful to be coming at you head on, and you're doing the same. And instead of just fighting fire with fire, you could have like an element of surprise